Welcome to KQ Day celebrations. So, what's been happening since we last met? This is now uh, we celebrate this as the descent of KQ Energy Day, 19th of March. So, Reiki, of course, is the mother energy, and KQ being the father energy. Both are needed in this case. It's good to have both. Even if you have one, that's very fine. You should try and get to the one that isn't there with you right now.
Pranam sir, Prashant Ratraya sir.
Hanji, how are you? How's
Yes,
it going with
sir.
you generally? How's the work?
All well sir. All works fine sir. Thanks to the healing I'm getting.
Okay.
And a little restless over the last 6-7 months, but I think I sense a lot of change in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing I also want to ask you. Um, the restlessness, is it good or is it leading to something I need to act on, or is it something that I'm not able to act, and that's the reason I'm feeling a little too much overwhelmed with things that in life in general. And that's the thing I wanted to ask you for guidance on.
Yeah, if you have many things churning in your mind, you will be restless. And always a good thing to do is to do some exercise at that time. So even if it's just walking up and down the stairs or walking around, it's like sometimes you have many thought processes going on. It makes your body very active also, and you feel uncomfortable. So basically, it's energy that needs to be discharged.
Right, sir.
So that's one aspect of it. Then you need to go back to think that, are you churning things too much without getting anywhere? That's another cause for restlessness. That you're rotating the same thing again and again. You've come to a conclusion, you're revisiting it, or you're trying to find a different endpoint or a different conclusion to what you already come to, but that's not happening. So that could give you restlessness. So which is it? Which is it that you find?
It's sometimes both of them in terms of a lack of clarity sometimes, and
Yeah.
also um, sometimes it's around the inability to break through a certain situation. So, but the grace of the masters continues to keep me on the path of wanting to change and wanting to break out a solution, and that's the thing. That's the thing which finally I'm resting back on.
Does this have to do mainly with your work or other things?
Mostly works up. Otherwise, first, if everything's, we're all happy with the way
So,
things are
so
done,
then in work,
everything's fine.
okay. So then in work, if you're not having the breakthrough, why is that? Have you analyzed that?
There is a lot of monotony in the work because I've saturated most of the thing that I'm doing here. So I've been trying to eke out a change, and that's the thing which is sort of not seeing immediate result, but I think directionally things are working out, sir. So I'm in a way I'm fine that these things will take time, and um, if there is too much of change in for certain, then I don't want to sort of elsewhere. So
If the work is going fine and it's a bit monotonous, you have number of choices available. One is to see that if in an allied work, your expertise can be utilized in some allied aspect of your work. Or if that is not possible and this is just the way it is and you're not expected to go beyond the parameters that have been given to you, this is the direction that you're supposed to work within, and you feel you need to do something else, so that is because the creative drive is being stifled. So you need to understand that there is a drive for being creative or exploring other things. So it need not be work only. So you can explore things outside the work, creative things outside your workspace, if you can't find it within your workspace. Or you can do both, a little bit creative work inside in the sense of adding value more to whatever you're doing. That is one place that you can look at, and that would be very satisfying. And the other is to add value to yourself in upgrading your skill set or finding a creative outlet. So that could be even as something like learning a new language.
Yes, sir.
So that will give you a
Yes,
very,
sir.
yeah. Then the other thing is about your work. So the one is you're adding value to your personal profile in that sense, and the other is that you are adding value to your business or work profile. So, there's no limit to what you can do. Be creative. Because being creative is what gets us ahead, it keeps us moving. The restlessness is my engine is running, my foot is on the accelerator, but my gears are in neutral. You know, I'm not going anywhere. The worst case scenario, you're in forward gear, but one foot is on the brake and the other is on the accelerator. So, a lot of smoke and heat and restlessness, but nothing happening. So, you
Yes,
can,
sir.
yeah, so just change it. You can change it. Okay?
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay,
Thanks
very
for
well.
that.
He's basically waiting, I think,
Who's waiting?
for work to happen or something. Is
Yeah,
it
if
like
you're
that?
waiting for, no, he is very fully engaged. The thing is that he has competently handled his work, and he's like nothing to do. So I used to do that when I was working in the family business. I would reach there by 8:39, clear my desk, and by 9:30 I had my feet on the desk and I was reading Bhagavad Gita. And people would walk into my office and say, "What the heck are you doing? Why aren't you working?" I said, "I'm working. I've done my work. I'm waiting for an emergency." That's my job as a good manager, that I train people, I let them do the work, and I just wait to handle stuff they can't handle. So they got very upset with that. So I said, I don't have to, I don't have to keep running on a treadmill. I mean, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So then the objection was, why are you reading Bhagavad Gita? I said, why shouldn't I? So, I mean, like that. So, so that kind of restlessness is there if you have got a well trained team and they're doing the job and you're coasting along in a way. Because that was a business I was not really interested in. I was just interested in efficiently doing my job, and that's it. So, I was not that passionate about it, but if I had to do some work, I'd do it competently and equally well. Of course, there has to be some degree of interest and passion, otherwise you can't perform in that work. But I didn't have that kind of thing. I should go down and work on the kitchen line or anything like that. That was not my interest. After a while, I was not built that way. My younger brother used to do that. Elder brother was an administrative guy. I was somewhere in between. So, like,
That's what I think we should be in between. No?
yeah,
Everything a little bit.
well, yeah, you should know enough. And we've been discussing this morning, and even last time we discussed on Thursday. Find people who are better than you in doing something as part of your work and let them do the job. Because you can't do everything yourself. If you insist, no, I only know the best, then you will get people who know less than you. So your levels will start dropping. If you are afraid that, if I get this person, they'll know more than me, and I won't use this person's talent or service because they are more competent than me, it doesn't really make sense. It's some kind of anxiety which is not necessary. If you are doing some work and you have the ability to inspire somebody to help you, or people are willing to help you, then you should find people who know that particular aspect of that job much better than you. Let them guide you. The problem is somebody who's in a position of a controller or a boss, he thinks nobody should guide them. That is a big mistake. So if you're trying to manage people by instructing them all the time, even though they are on the line, they know better many things. You may know the overall picture better. But if somebody is competent in their area of activity, why would you want to, insist that you are equally or more competent than them? you have to balance. You must take advice of people who are actually doing the work. Like I remember when I came back from Cornell, and I was working in the dishwash section because at here in the family business. First, it was very scandalous how you are doing dishwashing. So I said, unless I know what their problem is, I can't fix it. So then I talked to the dishwasher and came to know what are their problems in washing dishes. And that's how I could solve it. How can you solve it otherwise? But he was the expert because he's been doing it his whole life. You know, how will I be a better dishwasher than him? I'll never be. I have no interest in being a dishwasher. But I would know, if he is pointing something out, pay attention to it. So always take advice from the people who you are supposed to direct. So if you take advice from people who you are supposed to direct in terms of what is their understanding, and you'll come to know things that you never even thought of. Surprising thing. One of the biggest obstacles to this I find is that people don't tell you things. Even if you ask them, they don't tell you. Then you have to try and extract that information for whatever reason. They have their own anxieties about telling you things. But if you are non-threatening, they'll tell you. It's a different way of getting, a cooperative venture together. So the KQ force, the karma quotient force is that. Although it is a controller energy coming from the Supreme Controller, it is not about control. It's actually about you have that power or you have that energy. It's not that you become a controller. It's about how you let go of being a controller actually. How you can be in control without being a controller. And I've always found if you give people a certain responsibility, first of all, you would check whether these people are competent to some degree. And then you allow them, give them the responsibility. Most people respond pretty well because you are allowing their creative impetus to come forward. So they would like to do their best. Actually, I actually believe that people like to work. They want to do work. There are various things that obstruct them. One of the things that obstructs them is that thinking that the universe owes us something. The universe doesn't actually. Say, I'm entitled. I'm entitled to have this. Maybe, maybe not. If you're entitled, you'll get it. If you're not entitled, you won't get it. If you're a healer, you'll get more than you're entitled to, that's for sure. So work with that understanding. When you're ready, you will understand these things. If you're not ready, it will just fly over somewhere. Because the information is not different than it ever was. It's just your receptivity or connectivity is changed.
So, how did we get these blessings? How did we be the ones to have come here and be chosen, and those whom we would like now to come? What would our prayer be for them so they come here eventually?
Okay, to tackle the different parts of your multi-part question. The first is, how did you come here? Because basically what you're saying, you came here kind of in ignorance. So that is coming from your past karma.
What did I do?
Whatever you did prepared you to come here. And life prepared you to be receptive enough to be able to acknowledge and understand that you need this, or this is something that you have to have. So life prepared you.
I knew there was something I needed, but what did I do that made me come here?
Well,
Maybe
if you
we
go
pray
back,
for someone.
if you go back to your Reiki 1 manual, you should have written your little notebook there. in the manual that, what was your position when you first came here. And if you read it, you'll say, who is this person? I don't even recognize this person. Because they would have changed, you would have changed. And that person that you were was a person looking for help, uh, was not happy, typically, was disappointed, was depressed, so many things. Looking for answers to, why am I feeling so unhappy? What do I need to do to get my life back on track? All those things would be there.
So these feelings
Yeah,
were-
these drove you to come to seek. Krishna says, no, 4 types of people approach you. Artha, Arthati, Jigyansu, Jnani. So, the person who is in physical distress, one who is in financial distress, one who is curious, and one who is actually in knowledge, in intelligence, who is the intellectual understanding, or at least a knowledgeable understanding, Jnani. So, all 4 types of motivations lead to me eventually.
But Master, sir, if it's very big,
Sukriti, pious actions.
pious action.
Yeah, Sukriti. And sometimes we are doing Agyat Sukriti, unknown Sukriti. We are doing actions which are pious, we do not have any idea that actually they were pious. We are not doing it with that idea. So if you are spontaneously, automatically doing certain things which are considered to be pious activities, good karma, positive action, in the line of not exactly spiritual activity, but in the mode of goodness. So, pious activity is in the mode of goodness, which can give you an offering, take you to a place where you get more pious activity. For example, if you visit a temple or a mosque or a church, and you go there and there is some piety, some humility, some receptivity to the divine energies, that is Sukriti, pious activity. Not spiritual activity, it is pious activity, it's different.
Even in the temple is not spiritual.
No, it depends how you go. I mean, you may go there and you may gain Sukriti, but if you are not doing anything, if it also depends on how that temple is placed, what kind of activities they are doing, and what you are doing. If you are just going there making some offering, taking some bhog and prasad and giving some donation, that is pious activity. Some element of it will be translated to spiritual activity. Some. Because you're not connected to the spiritual energy.
But doesn't that do its
But
job
it gives
irrespective?
you the opportunity to eventually get connected to the spiritual energy. So when you get connected to the spiritual energy or reconnected, then your spiritual activity starts, actually. Otherwise it is Sukriti. It is going towards the spiritual. But only when you have the spiritual empowerment, you have the Diksha, that is the considered to be born for the second time, Dvij, which is the definition of Brahmin. So when you get Diksha into the KQ force or the Reiki, you are Dvij, you are Brahmin. You are connected to the Brahma spiritual energy. But if you are not connected, then all your activities are actually in the zone of very good mode of goodness, pious activity.
Even if you're going to a temple
Yes.
and
Yes, if you are not, yes, because that is pious activity.
and
How is
chanting
it?
his name irrespective.
Chanting the name is a pious spiritual activity.
But you're not attuned. A lot of people
That's
just
okay.
go and start off in the
Yes,
young
so
and-
then the real benefit comes only after attunement. That's why you need the Guru to attune you to the Mahamantra, to give you the Nam Diksha.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's no meaning to the word Nam Diksha if it's the same.
Yeah.
So the whole point is that when you are without the attunement, you are doing this pious activity. It is getting you to the point where you can actually go take the next step to the spiritual activity. If it was that you just chant the Mahamantra and that's enough, as a general statement, yes, because in many lifetimes you will eventually get to the point of taking Diksha, getting the empowerment, and that takes you to a different level. But until that time, if you are not empowered but you chant the Mahamantra, you are developing and generating a huge storehouse of pious activity which will get you to the point of cutting your karma. So eventually you need to be initiated, always.
It must have been happened in another life too.
Yes, and the thing is that when you are connected to Reiki or the KQ force, you are spiritually initiated. And if we instruct you that you chant the Maha Mantra, it is as good as being initiated in the Maha. Spoiling everything is illusion.
Usually,
Yes. So we have to pray that intelligence is not an illusion. Number one. Number two, that there is an acceptance factor. To be able to see the reality and the truth as it is.
But where does the unconditional part come in?
One
Because
unconditional
initially
what?
I would think I was in a very unconditional blessed area, that whatever time I got to reach a understanding, as you're saying, is I accept and understand it, happened much later.
Yeah.
But the unconditional part was the reason why I think I was allowed to.
Yes, but then it doesn't mean that. Does it mean that anywhere anyone goes unconditionally, the result will be the same? Unconditional is not the factor. You can go
Initially, I
unconditional.
wouldn't know.
Okay, let me give you an example.
I came here, I didn't know.
Let me give you an example. You are unconditionally surrendered to a cheater guru and you later learn that person is a cheater guru. Then
So you have to.
unconditional surrender is not the correct. So then you're saying unconditional on what basis? That you were willing to do everything you had, that it's unconditional, that you handed over your responsibility to somebody else. You said, I hand over all my responsibility to you. You fix it. You fix my life. You do whatever is needed to fix my life. I will accept what you tell me. That is unconditional as far as you are concerned, right?
Don't even think I remember.
Then
that
why you use the
condition.
word unconditional then?
No, I think
I'm
now
ex-
when I look back, that because of that unconditional environment,
What is
it gave me
unconditional?
time,
What is unconditional environment?
that there was no condition as such that
Of course there are conditions.
I had to be a certain kind.
Of
and
course
then
there
I
are
would get it.
conditions. Of course there are conditions, always.
Okay.
To you it might not have looked that there are conditions, but there are always conditions.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Then the point is that if you go to an environment where you feel safe, let's examine your understanding of unconditional. You say the environment was unconditional, it didn't ask anything of you as such. But it asked you to be there. It asked you that you follow this system, whatever the system was. That you have to subscribe to the system to get to the next level.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
what
it?
That's what I'm saying.
So the subscription is, you have to subscribe to it. So how is it unconditional from that angle? But it is unconditional that,
Maybe I'm saying that
No.
feeling of compassion I'm relating
no,
with the,
please understand this. The unconditional is that you are not judged on your past.
yeah.
That is
I
unconditional.
think,
Yes. The illusion should go away and they should understand what is in their best self-interest. In order to know what is your best self-interest, you need to know what is the self. If you're thinking the self is this material body, then that is your self-interest. If you're seeing the spark inside, the spiritual spark that is constant, then that is the self. If you're looking to the changing self, then you're going to be driven by the changing self and be restless all the time. Because your self is always changing. So it's not the constant self. But if you are within that able to see your constant self, and you are able to understand the needs of that constant self, then you are very peaceful. So it's not happening to everybody overnight. So that is the curious and the jnani. So when you come to the level of curiosity and jnana, you are willing to explore that aspect, going beyond physical distress and financial distress. Because when you are in financial and physical distress, what is the key point about, let's start with physical distress. When you are in physical pain, what does it do? what does it do to your thinking process?
Distorts
It distorts it.
it, stifles it, like
It does not allow you to think clearly,
clear.
right? So if you're in too much physical pain, you can't think clearly. If you're in too much financial pain, you can't think clearly. So then you're going to take all froggy hopping reaction actions, and that will land you from the frying pan into the fire, into the furnace. So the problem is that only. Pain is distorting to your consciousness. So to be relatively pain free is required. So when you do the healing with the KQ force or with the Reiki, you start to become pain free in these two areas, the physical pain and the financial pain. Now, because there is no end to your desiring, the more you satisfy your desire, the more it grows. The more you feed it, the more it grows. That's the flame that's rising on one side. On the other side, because you're getting this flame rising, it is exciting you. Oh, let me do more healing. I'll get more result. So when you start doing more healing, then the flame starts to actually shrink. The desires actually start to drop or become more manageable in terms of not distorting your thinking.
Don't make you wild.
They don't make you wild anymore. In the beginning, they make you wild. Oh, I can do like this and healing. This will happen. That will happen. Oh, this come. Gimme. I want. Yeah, on it. Yeah. So that happens right in the beginning stages, and then later, it's all cooling off. So that's the difference between material things feeding material desires and the spiritual, which apparently is getting you to your material goals and feeding your desires, and eventually it is actually soothing it down. So it is of a different nature. The nature of spiritual satisfaction energy is different from the nature of material satisfaction energy. This is how you can tell the difference, whether you have progressed much or little, or how much you have progressed and how much of the healing energy you are utilizing. So if you are utilizing the KQ energy, the Reiki energy, the healing energy to get free of financial pain and physical pain, there's nothing wrong with that. That is your motivator. Otherwise, why are you
Then
doing
do
it?
it.
That's the beginning. So it is you use a thorn to remove a thorn. So you're using those thorny desires to remove the thorny desires eventually. And by the grace of the divine, by the grace of the KQ force, and by the grace of Reiki. So that is how you're able to satisfy and fulfill your desiring, and actually gain some control over it. So when you come to that state, it may take years. But when you're in that state, by doing your healing, it will progress you more and more in that direction. That is the whole sum and substance of how the spiritual healing energy, while apparently satisfying your desires, is not inflaming them. When you satisfy your desires by other means, it is inflammatory. It's like pouring more ghee and more oil on the flame. But this is a cooling substance. It's not a heating one. That's
Master, did you call for the KQ force? Or how did you had this desire for it? Or you
no,
said
I didn't know about it. It
because
was just there.
it just came to you?
Yes, it was there. For many years. It was always there. I didn't know what it was. It had been there since I was 9 years old.
It was with you all the time?
Yes.
Like, as in. Oh my god, I have no reference points, so therefore
It's
maybe
okay,
I
don't
will
worry
say-
about it. It's all right.
The KQ force, may I ask, what does it give us access to in the spiritual realms?
It gives you access to the spiritual realm.
Beyond that, in the spiritual realms?
Then it depends on you what you do. Again, how you act. It's your ticket to the spiritual world. Then action doesn't stop. You're always going to be active. So then you act, and then accordingly you'll get results also. But the thing is that you are not going to have these four problems of birth, death, old age, and disease, and that kind of suffering is not going to be there. You are also not bound here in this material world. You won't have the kind of birth that takes place here. There will be transformations, but no birth and death.
So people in the spiritual realms, they already have access to these energies.
Yes, they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. How would they be there without these energies? Basically, their body is formed of these energies also. Their body is spiritual. Internally, externally, they are the same, qualitatively. Here, qualitatively, we are different internally and externally. As you can see, that your consciousness is of a different quality, and that is the quality of unchangeableness, constancy. Whereas your body is not constant, it is constantly changing, and your constant consciousness is traveling always through a changing body, and that is reincarnation. So that gives you evidence of two different types of systems that are running in an integrated form together. So in the spiritual world, there's only one system, and that is the spiritual. There's no material body. None of the material characteristics.
Sir, Koti Pranam, really immensely gratitude for this connection to the light. It's only when we have this time out and we basically realize that, it's such a blessing. Because in the constant daily struggle, we forget, though we are doing our healing, that it's such a boon to be connected. And the Thursdays and the Saturday classes and the special classes are really connecting all of us from all the world. And I think on behalf of all of us, I'd like to really express our gratitude and seek blessings to being worthy students and light workers. And at the same time, would ask you what would be the guidance for the year forwards.
We're very happy that we have been able to activate this webinar business thanks to the input of the healers here who have got together and gone and actually done it, and we are pleased that people from all over the world can join in. And the guidance for going forward for the year is this only, that you find out and develop support systems, because that has been clearly lacking over the last many years. You've not been able to get to that point. So I will reinforce for this year that the guidance is that you need to have the support systems of various categories in all the areas of your life. And as you're coming to the retreat, this retreat is going to be about how you can activate those 9 areas of your life and what is it that you need. So you'll be fully equipped. But the general guidance is that be connected to understanding that you need help from others. You can't achieve any great level of satisfaction or success without the assistance of others, without any support, without any guidance. So it's not that whether you pay for it or you don't pay for it, it's not that you can hire the support. Sometimes you can't hire it, it's not available for hire. So which means that you have to connect socially with people through a social network of some sort, through a common interest group basically. So where you have common interest groups like we have here, we can support each other as we are doing in the Healing Health Line. You have the WhatsApp group on the True North Health Center, where we get requests from people, and everybody, or at least a lot of people, are channeling healing for those objectives, and you get the results very quickly also. Sometimes you find them amazingly fast. Results are coming. So we should develop a greater confidence in friendships, a greater confidence in people. we should not be so distrusting. We should not be so uh, fearful. At the same time, there is no need to embrace everybody instantly and take them to, your innermost recesses of your life. That's not required. So there is a balance to be maintained. And remember that everybody who's coming to this process is coming from their own particular specific condition, and some of these people will not be compatible with you. You don't have to be compatible with everyone, but yes, we can respect everyone who's coming to this point, because they've been brought here by the light, and whatever their ailment, whatever their derangement, whatever their situation and whatever their problem, they have approached the light and the light has accepted them and receiving. So from that aspect we will respect them, but from a distance if needed. So that is the key consideration. Not too close, not too far, and amongst the group you will find people who are your genuine well-wishers, and it's good to maintain and cultivate such people. And also remember, things change over time. So that may change also. Finally, you are dependent on the light, but you need to connect with the agents of the light. You can't be an agent on your own. So the agency has many people working. So you need to work in harmony and cooperation with at least a few of them. So that is the guidance. That's the one aspect of the guidance. The second aspect is, outside this special interest group of healers, you also need to develop a support system. You cannot disregard people outside by saying that they are not healers, or they are unworthy in any way, or they are lesser than you, because very often those people will be able to help you more than the healers. That's just reality based on numbers. The amount of people outside are more than the amount of people inside, right? And if your life is reaching out to lots of people, that's where you also need to develop a support system. You have the advantage of the healing energy of the KQ force of Reiki, that the worst downsides that you might encounter in whatever you do in life are minimized. They may not be eliminated entirely, they never will be. But you have enough with you to be able to deal with it adequately. And that is what you need to understand. That's the full perspective of where you're going in your life. So when you look at it like that, there is automatically a sense of detachment that comes with the gratitude that you have for all the help that you're getting. So you maintain your equilibrium that way. That is the guidance for the year. You have to maintain your balance and your support systems wherever you need the support systems to be. If you were looking at this as a very purely materialistic viewpoint, the materialistic viewpoint would be, cultivate the people, for you never know when you might need them. You hear that, I used to hear that all the time. Suck up to this one because he may come in use tomorrow, but most of the people you suck up to is not going to be useful to you. So if you have that attitude which the materialists have, they're always in anxiety, they're always wanting to cultivate this one, wanting to cultivate that one, to gather some social capital here, to gather some social capital there. They call it networking. So that's fine too. But they are not at peace. Your way of networking as a healer will be very different, and you will be at peace. Because you know, if this one element part of the network, this one node is not favorable, the healing energy will provide me another node. So I don't actually have to go out of my way to excessively cultivate anyone. But I do need to be friendly and develop a support group amongst many people. So that if you do that, then you are going to be peaceful, successful, and not stressed. Because ultimately it doesn't depend on people that much as the energy that's coming through the people. And if you are connected to the healing energies of the various healing modalities, the KQ force and so on, then they will arrange these people to come into your life and go out of your life. So focus on that. You may find help from the most unlikely quarters, because the person who is inimical to you, close to you, doesn't like you or is competitive to you may be the best person to deliver a good result to you also, because of your proximity to them. So KQ and the Reiki can change their thinking instantly and get you the benefit also. So become neutral. No enemy, no friend. There is no enemy, there is no friend. It is only people who are delivering some results to you. So that will create detachment. That will create an appreciation of the force, and also an appreciation of those who are delivering to you the results of the force coming to you. So person is delivering some good result, very nice, thank you very much. Somebody is delivering bad result, very nice, thank you very much. Move on, keep moving. When you are actually able to practice that, then you are flying in the spiritual zone. So to the extent you can practice it, you'll be flying. Bye bye. Have a great year going forward.